Welcome to Thailand, the land of the free. As you begin this journey through one of the most enchanting countries in Southeast Asia, let yourself drift into the gentle rhythm of discovery. Thailand, known in the Thai language as Prathat Thai, carries a name that speaks to something profound and rare in this corner of the world. The word Thailand translates directly to land of the free, and this is not merely poetic language or national pride speaking. This is historical truth, a distinction that sets Thailand apart from every other nation in Southeast Asia. While colonizers from Europe swept across the region, claiming territories and establishing empires, Thailand alone maintained its sovereignty. The British colonized Burma to the west. The French took control of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia to the east. The Dutch established themselves in what is now Indonesia. The Spanish and later the Americans held the Philippines. But Thailand, through diplomatic skill, strategic negotiations, and carefully balanced relationships with competing powers, remained independent. This independence is woven into the very fabric of Thai identity, into the pride of its people, into the way they carry themselves and view their place in the world. When you step onto Thai soil, you are entering a land that has never known foreign rule, never been subject to colonial administration, never had its sovereignty stripped away. This unbroken thread of independence stretches back through centuries, through kingdoms and dynasties, through the Sukhothai period and the Ayutthaya era, through the modernization of the Chakri dynasty to the present day. The freedom Thailand has always known shapes everything about the country, from its culture to its politics, from its architecture to its art. The preservation of Thai independence was no accident. It required shrewd leadership, particularly during the reigns of King Mongkut, Rama IV, and his son King Chulalongkorn, Rama V in the 19th century. These monarchs understood that the world was changing, that European powers were expanding their influence across Asia, and that survival required adaptation. King Mongkut, who had spent 27 years as a Buddhist monk before ascending to the throne, learned English and Latin, studied Western science, and established relationships with European diplomats. He understood that Thailand needed to modernize to be taken seriously, to be seen as a sovereign nation capable of governing itself rather than a territory ripe for colonization. His son, King Chulalongkorn, continued this work with even greater intensity. He abolished slavery, reformed the government, built railways, established schools, and sent Thai students to study in Europe. He ceded some territory to the British and French, allowing them to take border regions in order to preserve the heartland of the kingdom. This was strategic sacrifice, giving up the periphery to save the center. The policy worked. Thailand became a buffer state between British Burma and French Indochina, valuable to both powers precisely because it remained independent, a neutral zone that prevented direct confrontation between competing empires. The Thai kings played these powers against each other brilliantly, signing treaties with both, granting concessions to both, but never surrendering sovereignty to either. This diplomatic balancing act, combined with genuine modernization that made Thailand a credible partner rather than a target, preserved Thai independence through the most aggressive period of European colonial expansion. When you understand this history, you understand why the name Land of the Free carries such weight, why independence is celebrated, why Thai people speak of their nation's unique status with justified pride. As you look at a map of Thailand, something remarkable becomes apparent. The shape of the country itself seems to tell a story. With borders that stretch from the mountainous north down through the central plains and into the long, slender southern peninsula, Thailand resembles the head of an elephant. This is not coincidence or mere imagination. The resemblance is clear enough that it has become part of how Thai people and visitors alike conceptualize the geography. The northern regions, broad and expansive, form the elephant's head and ears. The central region, home to Bangkok and the vast rice-growing plains, creates the trunk. The southern peninsula, stretching down toward Malaysia, forms the elongated shape that completes the image. The elephant is not just any animal in Thai culture. It is sacred, revered, deeply significant. Elephants have been part of Thai history for as long as history has been recorded here. They were instruments of war, carrying kings and warriors into battle. Ancient chronicles describe battles where war elephants charged enemy lines, where kings rode into combat atop these massive creatures, where the outcome of conflicts depended on the strength and training of elephant corps. They were tools of industry, moving massive teak logs from northern forests, their strength and intelligence making them invaluable partners in the timber trade that was once central to the Thai economy. They were and remain symbols of power, wisdom, and good fortune. White elephants, in particular, were considered so sacred that they belonged exclusively to the king. To this day, the white elephant appears on Thai royal standards and remains a symbol of royal authority. The reverence for elephants runs deep in Thai Buddhism and in the cultural memory of the Thai people. The Buddha's mother was said to have dreamed of a white elephant before his birth, a vision interpreted as a sign of the coming of a great being. Elephants appear in temple murals and classical literature, in folk tales passed down through generations. The Thai Elephant Conservation Center works to protect these animals, and there are festivals dedicated to elephants, days when they are honored and blessed by monks. In the past, the number of white elephants a king possessed was a measure of his spiritual merit and political power. Neighboring kingdoms would send white elephants as tribute, acknowledging Thai supremacy. Wars were fought over the possession of these sacred animals. That the country itself should take the shape of this most beloved and sacred animal seems fitting, as though the land itself were blessed, as though geography and culture aligned in some mystical way. When you trace the outline of Thailand on a map, you are not just seeing borders drawn by treaties and historical events. You are seeing a shape that resonates with meaning, that connects the physical territory to the spiritual and cultural identity of the people who live there. The elephant shape is taught to Thai school children, used in tourism materials, referenced in poetry and art. It is one more way that this country's identity is layered, one more connection between the land and the symbols that give it meaning. Your arrival brings you to Bangkok, a city known to Thai people by a very different name. While the world calls it Bangkok, the Thai name is Krung Thep, though even that is merely a shortened version of the city's full ceremonial name. This full name is not something you will hear in everyday conversation, but it exists, officially recognized and recorded. It is a name that holds the Guinness World Record for the longest place name of any location on Earth. The complete name stretches to 168 letters in the Roman alphabet. In Thai script, it is somewhat shorter but still extraordinary. The full name translates to something like this: the City of Angels, the Great City, the residence of the Emerald Buddha, the impregnable city of God Indra, the grand capital of the world endowed with 9 precious gems, the Happy City, abounding in an enormous royal palace that resembles the heavenly abode where reigns the reincarnated God, a city given by Indra and built by Vishnukarn. This is not a name meant for casual use. It is a name of ceremony and significance, a name that captures aspirations and divine associations, a name that positions Bangkok not just as a city but as a holy place, a center of the universe, a dwelling place of gods and kings. The name references Indra, the king of gods in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology, the deity associated with rain, thunder, and war. It references Vishnukarn, the divine architect who built the palaces of the gods. It references the Emerald Buddha, the most sacred Buddha image in Thailand, housed in the Temple of the Emerald Buddha within the Grand Palace complex in Bangkok. Every element of this long name has meaning, pointing to religious significance, to royal power, to divine favor, to the ambition of the city's founders to create something more than just a capital, to build a place worthy of heavenly comparison. Most people, Thai and foreign alike, simply call it Krung Thep or Bangkok. The name Bangkok itself comes from an older name for the area, Bang Makok, which referred to the olive plum trees that once grew along the riverbanks. When King Rama I established the new capital here in 1782, moving the seat of power across the Chao Phraya River from Thonburi, he gave the city its grand ceremonial name, but the old name Bangkok persisted, especially among foreigners. Today if you say Bangkok, everyone knows what you mean. If you say Krung Thep, you sound like you know something, like you have taken the time to learn what Thai people actually call their city. But knowing the full name gives you a sense of how the founders of this city saw it, how they hoped it would be perceived, how they wanted to anchor it in both earthly power and celestial blessing. Bangkok today is a sprawling metropolis of more than 10 million people, a city of gleaming skyscrapers and ancient temples, of traffic-choked streets and serene canals, of street food vendors and luxury shopping malls. It is chaos and calm existing side by side, modernity and tradition woven together in ways that can seem contradictory but somehow work. The city was built on the floodplains of the Chao Phraya River, and water has always been central to Bangkok's identity. Once called the Venice of the East, the city was crisscrossed by canals or klongs that served as transportation routes, with boats carrying people and goods through the city. Many of these canals have been filled in to make roads, but some remain, and you can still take boat taxis through parts of Bangkok, gliding past old wooden houses built on stilts, past temple walls, past modern condominiums, seeing a layer of the city that is invisible from the streets. The river itself remains vital, with ferries and long-tail boats transporting thousands of people daily, providing a way to bypass the notorious traffic that clogs Bangkok's streets. Bangkok is a city that never stops, where you can find food at any hour, where markets operate through the night, where the energy is constant and intense. It is also a city of contrasts, where you can step from a crowded, noisy street into the tranquil grounds of a temple and find stillness, where monks in saffron robes collect alms in the morning while office workers rush to their jobs, where the spiritual and the commercial, the ancient and the ultramodern, share the same space. The climate you encounter depends entirely on when you arrive. Thailand does not have 4 seasons as many temperate countries do. Instead, the year divides into 3 distinct periods, each with its own character, its own feeling, its own way of shaping daily life. There is the hot season, typically running from March through May, when temperatures soar and the sun beats down with relentless intensity. This is the time of year when the heat feels like a physical presence, when moving from air-conditioned space to air-conditioned space becomes a strategy for survival, when even Thai people, accustomed to tropical warmth, seek shade and fans and any breath of cooling air. Temperatures during the hot season can reach 40 degrees Celsius or higher, 104 Fahrenheit, and the humidity makes it feel even hotter. The air shimmers, the pavement radiates heat, and the sun at midday is something to be avoided. This is when you see people carrying umbrellas not for rain but for shade, when you understand why Thai architecture emphasizes high ceilings and open spaces to let heat escape, when you appreciate every breeze, every fan, every cool drink. Then comes the rainy season from roughly June through October, when monsoon rains sweep across the country. These are not always gentle rains. They can be fierce downpours that flood streets in minutes, that drum on roofs and turn the sky dark in the middle of the day. But they also bring relief from the heat, they green the rice fields, they fill the rivers and reservoirs that the country depends on. The rainy season is life-giving, essential, anticipated. Without these rains, the agricultural cycles that feed Thailand and much of Asia would fail. Rice, the staple crop, depends entirely on the monsoon. Farmers watch the skies, waiting for the rains to begin, timing their planting to the arrival of the monsoon. The rains do not fall constantly. There are patterns within the rainy season. Some days it rains in the afternoon, a predictable downpour that lasts an hour or two and then clears. Other times it rains for days, steady and gray, the kind of rain that makes you want to stay inside with a book and a cup of tea. Flash floods are common in Bangkok during heavy rains. The city's drainage systems, built for a smaller city and overwhelmed by rapid development, cannot always handle the volume of water. But Thai people adapt. They wear sandals, they roll up their pants, they wade through flooded streets, they keep going. There is a resilience to life during the rainy season, an acceptance that this is simply how things are, that the water will recede, that life will continue. Finally, there is the cool season, from November through February, when temperatures drop to what Thai people consider cold, though visitors from northern climates might still find it quite pleasant. Daytime temperatures during the cool season might be in the 20s Celsius, 70s Fahrenheit, with nights occasionally dipping into the teens, the 60s. In the mountains of northern Thailand, it can get genuinely cold, cold enough that people wear jackets and scarves, cold enough that you can see your breath in the early morning. This is peak tourist season, when the weather is most comfortable, when the skies are clearest, when traveling through the country is easiest and most enjoyable. The beaches are perfect during this time, the trekking routes in the north are accessible, the festivals are numerous. Understanding these seasons helps you understand Thailand itself. The rhythm of Thai life, especially in rural areas, follows these seasonal patterns. Rice is planted with the rains, grown through the wet months, harvested in the cool season. Festivals align with seasonal transitions. Songkran, the Thai New Year in April, falls at the hottest time of year, and the festival involves throwing water, a playful way of cooling down and symbolically washing away the old year. Loi Krathong, the festival of lights when people float decorated baskets on rivers and waterways, typically falls in November, at the end of the rainy season when water levels are high and the full moon is bright. The way people dress, the foods they eat, the activities they plan, all shift with the seasons. Hot season foods might be lighter, more refreshing. Cool season is the time for outdoor markets, for eating som tam and grilled meats at roadside stands without sweating through your clothes. Each season has its pleasures, its challenges, its particular quality of light and air. Time itself changes when you arrive in Thailand. You are now in the Indochina time zone, 7 hours ahead of Coordinated Universal Time, UTC+7. This time zone is shared with several neighboring countries, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, creating a regional synchronization. There is something settling about entering a new time zone, about adjusting your watch, about knowing that while people in one part of the world are sleeping, you are here, awake, experiencing daylight or darkness at a different hour. Thailand does not observe daylight saving time. The time remains consistent throughout the year, which makes sense in a tropical country where the length of days does not vary dramatically between seasons. Sunrise and sunset times stay relatively stable, with the sun rising around 6 in the morning and setting around 6 in the evening, give or take an hour depending on the time of year. This consistency creates a rhythm to the day that is predictable and steady. Time in Thailand can feel different in other ways too. There is a pace to life, especially outside the frantic energy of Bangkok, that seems less rushed, less driven by the clock, more attuned to natural rhythms. The Thai concept of Mai Pen Rai, often translated as never mind or no worries, reflects an approach to time and stress that values flexibility, acceptance, the ability to let go of what cannot be controlled. If the bus is late, Mai Pen Rai. If the restaurant has run out of your favorite dish, Mai Pen Rai. If plans change, Mai Pen Rai. This is not to say Thai people are not industrious or ambitious. They are. Thailand has one of the largest economies in Southeast Asia, a thriving manufacturing sector, a tourism industry that brings tens of millions of visitors each year, agricultural exports that feed the world. Thai people work hard, build businesses, pursue education, strive for success. But there is also a cultural understanding that some things cannot be rushed, that sometimes the best response to difficulty or delay is acceptance rather than frustration. This philosophy is rooted in Buddhism, in the understanding that attachment to outcomes causes suffering, that accepting impermanence and change brings peace. As you adjust to Thai time, both the literal time zone and this more philosophical relationship with time, you may find yourself slowing down, breathing more deeply, worrying less about schedules and more about experience. You may find that meals take longer, that conversations meander, that there is space in the day for things to unfold naturally. This can be disorienting at first, especially if you come from a culture where efficiency and punctuality are paramount. But it can also be liberating, a chance to step out of the constant rush and simply be present. Everywhere you look in Thailand, you see the national flag, red, white, and blue horizontal stripes. The flag is a relatively modern design, adopted in its current form in 1917. Before that, Thailand used different flags, including a plain red banner and later a red flag with a white elephant. The current design emerged during the reign of King Rama VI, and there are various stories about why the design changed. One popular account suggests that during a flood, the king saw the old flag hanging upside down and decided a symmetrical design would prevent such confusion. Whether this story is true or not, the new flag was adopted and its colors were given meaning. The red represents the nation, the blood spilled by Thai people to maintain their independence and sovereignty. The white represents religion, specifically Theravada Buddhism, which is practiced by the vast majority of Thai people and is deeply embedded in Thai culture and identity. The blue represents the monarchy, the institution that has been central to Thai identity and unity for centuries. These three elements, nation, religion, and monarchy, are considered the pillars of Thai society. They are taught to children, invoked in official ceremonies, referenced in speeches and songs. The flag itself is treated with great respect. It is raised and lowered at specific times each day, to the accompaniment of the national anthem. At 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening in public spaces throughout Thailand, the national anthem plays. In parks, at train stations, in schools, on military bases, the anthem sounds and people stop what they are doing and stand still out of respect. If you are walking, you pause. If you are sitting, you stand. This is not legally required, but it is culturally expected, a moment of collective acknowledgement of national identity. Foreigners who do not know this custom may be surprised the first time they experience it, suddenly finding themselves in a crowd of motionless people, everyone standing at attention while the anthem plays. The anthem itself is stirring, melodic, somewhat martial in character, befitting its role in invoking national pride. Disrespecting the flag is not taken lightly. There are laws against defacing or insulting the flag, and social disapproval for anyone who treats it carelessly. Understanding what the flag represents helps you understand what Thai people hold sacred, what they rally around, what unifies this diverse nation of different regions, ethnic groups, and historical experiences. Thailand is a country of regional differences. The north has its own dialect, its own cuisine, its own cultural traditions influenced by the historical Lanna Kingdom. The northeast, Isan, has traditions tied to Laos and Khmer culture. The south is influenced by Malay culture and Islam. But the flag, the monarchy, the Buddhist religion, these are unifying symbols that transcend regional differences, that create a shared national identity. When you see the flag flying, you are seeing a symbol that carries the weight of history, the pride of independence, the reverence for religion, and the loyalty to an institution that has guided the country through centuries of change. The first thing you will notice when you arrive in Thailand, the first gesture that will greet you, is the Y. It is a movement of grace and intention, hands pressed together as if in prayer, raised to chest level or higher, accompanied by a slight bow of the head. This is how Thai people greet each other, how they show respect, how they express gratitude, how they say goodbye. The Y is not a casual wave or a quick handshake. It is a gesture laden with meaning, with layers of social understanding embedded in the height of the hands, the depth of the bow, the context in which it is offered. When you see someone perform a Y, you are witnessing a physical expression of respect, an acknowledgement of the other person's dignity and position. The practice of the Y is ancient, rooted in Hindu and Buddhist traditions that predate the formation of Thailand as a nation. It is a gesture that connects modern Thai people to centuries of cultural continuity, to traditions that have been passed down through generations, refined and preserved. Learning to why properly is one of the first cultural lessons for anyone spending time in Thailand. There are rules, unwritten but understood, about when and how to why. Children why to adults. Students why to teachers. Employees why to bosses. Younger people why to older people. The person of lower social status initiates the why, and the person of higher status returns it, though often with a less formal version. A shopkeeper might why to a customer, and the customer might nod in acknowledgement or offer a small why in return. A child waits to a grandparent with hands raised high, perhaps to the forehead, with a deep bow showing utmost respect. An adult waits to a monk with similar reverence, hands raised high, head bowed deeply. Among peers, friends of the same age and status, the why is more relaxed, hands at chest level, a friendly acknowledgement rather than a formal gesture of hierarchy. You do not why to service workers of clearly lower status, though a polite nod is appreciated. You do not why to children, though you might smile at them. You always why to monks, to elders, to anyone you wish to show respect. The height of the hands matters. For the most sacred or respected individuals, the Buddha, the king, the most revered monks, hands are raised to the forehead, thumbs touching between the eyebrows. For monks and elders, hands are raised to the nose. For equals and most social interactions, hands are at chest level, thumbs near the sternum. As a foreigner, you are not expected to know all these nuances immediately. Thai people are generally forgiving of cultural mistakes made by visitors who are clearly trying to be respectful. But learning the why, understanding when to use it, practicing the gesture until it feels natural, is a way of showing that you respect Thai culture, that you are not merely passing through as an outsider but are making an effort to understand and participate in the customs of the place you are visiting. When you why to someone and they smile, when you why to a monk and he offers a blessing, when you why to an elderly vendor at the market and she beams with pleasure, you are engaging in a form of communication that goes beyond words. You are acknowledging the humanity and dignity of the other person. You are participating in a ritual that binds Thai society together, that maintains social harmony, that expresses values of respect and humility. The why is beautiful to watch. There is something inherently graceful about the gesture, the way hands come together smoothly, the way the head inclines, the way the whole body seems to soften for a moment in recognition of another person. In a world that often feels rushed and impersonal, the why is a reminder that taking a moment to acknowledge someone, to show respect, to perform a small ritual of greeting matters. Thailand is often called the land of smiles, and this is not empty tourism marketing. It is observable truth. Thai people smile frequently, easily, for many different reasons. There is the smile of greeting, warm and welcoming. There is the smile of embarrassment, offered when someone makes a mistake or is caught in an awkward situation. There is the smile of apology, a way of softening bad news or acknowledging fault. There is the smile of amusement, of genuine happiness, of pleasure in a moment. There is even the smile that hides discomfort or disagreement, a way of maintaining harmony and avoiding confrontation. Smiling in Thailand is a social tool, a way of navigating interactions, of putting people at ease, of showing goodwill. It is rooted in the Buddhist value of maintaining equanimity, of not displaying negative emotions publicly, of preserving face for yourself and others. Face, the concept of social dignity and reputation, is enormously important in Thai culture. Causing someone to lose face, to be embarrassed or humiliated publicly, is a serious social transgression. Smiling is one way to avoid this, to smooth over difficulties, to keep interactions pleasant even when there is underlying tension. This does not mean Thai people are never angry or upset. They are human with the full range of human emotions. But there is a cultural preference for keeping negative emotions private, for resolving conflicts quietly, for avoiding public displays of anger or frustration. Raising your voice, showing anger openly, making a scene, these behaviors cause everyone involved to lose face and are deeply frowned upon. A smile, even in difficult circumstances, is a way of saying that things are okay, that there is no need for conflict, that we can get through this with dignity intact. For visitors, understanding the land of smiles means recognizing that a smile is not always an indication of agreement or happiness. It might be a polite way of saying no. It might be a way of deflecting an uncomfortable question. It might be a mask over confusion or displeasure. Learning to read the different types of smiles, to understand the context, to look for other cues in body language and tone, is part of understanding Thai social interaction. But it also means appreciating the genuine warmth that Thai people often show to visitors. There is a generosity of spirit in Thai culture, a welcoming attitude toward guests, a desire to make visitors feel comfortable and happy. When a Thai person smiles at you, especially in a context where there is no transaction or expectation, it is often simply kindness, a wish for you to feel at ease, a small gift of human warmth in a world that can sometimes feel cold. As you navigate Thai culture, you will quickly learn that the head is sacred. This is not metaphorical. In Buddhist and Hindu cosmology, which deeply influenced Thai beliefs, the head is the highest part of the body, both physically and spiritually. It is the seat of the soul, the most sacred point of the human form, the part closest to the heavens. Because of this, touching someone's head is a serious breach of etiquette. You do not pat a Thai person on the head, even a child, even in a gesture meant to be affectionate. You do not reach over someone's head. You do not touch a stranger's head under any circumstances. Even touching your own head in certain contexts, such as during a religious ceremony, might be considered inappropriate. The prohibition is especially strong regarding children. In many cultures, adults affectionately ruffle children's hair or pat them on the head as a gesture of fondness. In Thailand, this is deeply offensive. Parents and very close family members might touch a child's head, but even then it is done with awareness of the head's sacred status. As a foreigner, if you touch a Thai person's head, even accidentally, you should apologize immediately. Most Thai people will forgive the mistake, understanding that you may not know the custom, but the apology shows respect and awareness. The sacredness of the head extends to representations of people. Buddha statues, images of the king, even pictures of revered monks, all of these are treated with the same respect that would be given to the actual person. This means you never place anything on top of a Buddha image, never step over one, never treat it carelessly. In temples, people are careful about the placement of their bodies relative to Buddha images, sitting in positions that do not point their feet toward the statue, keeping their heads lower than the statue when appropriate. This reverence is not superstition. It is an expression of deep religious devotion, a way of honoring the sacred, of maintaining right relationship with the spiritual realm. Understanding the sacredness of the head helps you understand Thai values more broadly. It points to a worldview where hierarchy is natural and important, where some things and some people are inherently higher and more sacred than others, where showing proper respect to what is above you is a moral duty. Just as the head is the highest and most sacred part of the body, the feet are the lowest and least sacred. Feet are considered dirty both literally and symbolically. They touch the ground, they walk through dirt and dust, they are the furthest from the heavens and the closest to the earth. Because of this, there are many customs around feet, rules about where they should and should not point, how they should be positioned, what they should never touch. Pointing your feet at someone is extremely rude. It is an insult, a way of showing contempt, of treating someone as lower than dirt. In Thai homes and temples, people are careful about how they sit, tucking their feet beneath them or to the side, never pointing them toward another person or toward a Buddha image. When sitting on the floor, which is common in Thai homes and in temples, you sit in positions that keep your feet pointed away from others. Women often sit with their legs folded to the side. Men might sit cross-legged, but with awareness of where their feet are pointing. Showing the bottoms of your feet is particularly offensive, as this is the dirtiest part of the foot, the part that actually touches the ground. You never step over someone even if they are lying down or sitting in a way that blocks your path. You walk around them or politely ask them to move. Stepping over someone is an extreme insult, putting your dirty feet above their sacred head. You never touch something with your foot that should be touched with your hand. If you accidentally kick someone or touch them with your foot, you apologize immediately. You never touch a book, especially a religious book, with your foot. You never touch food with your foot. You never use your foot to point at something or to close a door or move an object if you can avoid it. Feet are for walking, for standing, for supporting your body, but not for interacting with the world in ways that hands should be used for. In temples, shoes are always removed before entering the main hall. This is practical, keeping the temple clean, but it is also symbolic, leaving the dirt and impurity of the outside world at the threshold. You walk barefoot on the cool tile or wood floors of the temple, your feet now clean, now acceptable in this sacred space. Thai people are meticulous about this. You will see rows of shoes and sandals outside temples, outside homes, outside certain shops and businesses. You learn to slip your shoes off quickly, to step inside, to know that this is a space where the outside dirt is not welcome. As you walk through Thailand, through cities and villages, past houses and businesses and temples, you will see spirit houses everywhere. These are small structures resembling miniature temples or traditional Thai houses, elevated on pedestals placed outside buildings. They are beautifully made, often ornate, painted in bright colors, decorated with gold leaf, some simple and some quite elaborate. These are not decorations. They are homes for spirits, for the guardian spirits of the land, for the spirits that were displaced when the building was constructed. Thai belief, influenced by animism that predates Buddhism, holds that spirits inhabit the natural world, that they live in trees and rocks and the earth itself. When you build a house or a business on a piece of land, you are disturbing the spirits that live there. The spirit house is an offering of alternative accommodation, a way of asking the spirits to move into this little house rather than causing trouble in the main building. It is a form of respect, of negotiation, of maintaining harmony with the unseen world. The placement of the spirit house is important. It cannot be in the shadow of the main building, as spirits need sunlight. It should be positioned according to auspicious directions determined by consultation with monks or spirit doctors. Once the spirit house is in place, it must be maintained. People make offerings to the spirits daily or weekly, placing food, flowers, incense, water. You will see fresh garlands of jasmine and marigolds draped over spirit houses, bowls of rice, pieces of fruit, glasses of water or tea. These offerings are not symbolic. They are real gifts to real spirits, given with the same care and intention that you might give a gift to a living person. The belief is that if you take care of the spirits, if you honor them and provide for them, they will protect your home or business, bring good fortune, ward off bad luck. If you neglect them, trouble may follow. Business failures, accidents, illness, these might be attributed to angry or neglected spirits. Among the offerings you will see at spirit houses, one stands out as particularly curious. Red Fanta, the bright red carbonated soft drink, appears again and again, bottles opened and placed at spirit houses, the vivid red liquid glowing in the sunlight. This is not some ancient tradition handed down through centuries. Red Fanta is a modern product, but it has been incorporated into spirit worship because spirits are believed to like the color red. Red is auspicious in Thai culture, associated with luck, vitality, energy. It is a color that attracts positive forces. Spirits, according to belief, are drawn to red, and what better way to offer them something red than with a bright red beverage that is cheap, widely available, and comes in a convenient bottle. The practice is entirely pragmatic. Thai spirit worship is not rigid or dogmatic. It adapts, incorporates new elements, finds modern solutions to age-old practices of honoring the spirit world. So red Fanta joins incense and flowers and food as an acceptable offering. You will see it at spirit houses outside luxury hotels and roadside shacks alike, outside businesses in Bangkok and homes in rural villages. The spirits, it seems, have developed a taste for modern soft drinks, or at least Thai people believe they might enjoy them, and the offering is made with the same sincerity as any traditional gift. This blending of ancient belief and modern life is characteristic of Thai culture. There is no contradiction in the Thai worldview between being Buddhist and also believing in spirits, between using smartphones and making offerings to guardian spirits, between working in a high-rise office building and stopping to at a spirit house on your way inside. The spiritual and the material, the modern and the traditional, these exist side by side, interpenetrating, creating a culture that is deeply rooted in the past while fully engaged with the present. When you meet Thai people, you will notice that they introduce themselves with names that seem almost whimsical. You will meet someone named Bank and he works in finance. You will meet someone named Golf and she loves playing golf. You will meet Fern and Beer and Film and Game and Boom. These are not legal names. They are nicknames, Chulen in Thai, literally play names. Every Thai person has a formal name, their legal name, the name on their identity card and official documents. These formal names are often long, multisyllabic, carrying meaning and often incorporating elements chosen by parents or monks for auspiciousness. A formal Thai name might be something like Siraporn, Kittisak, Natapong, Ratanaporn, names that are beautiful when spoken in Thai but can be cumbersome in daily use. Because of this, almost every Thai person has a nickname, a short, easy-to-say name that they use in everyday life. These nicknames are given by parents when the child is born or when they are very young. Sometimes they are chosen for meaning, sometimes for sound, sometimes simply because the parents like them. The nicknames can be Thai words, often related to positive qualities or cute things. You might meet someone named Nok, which means bird, or Mew, which means cat, or Lek, which means small. Or the nicknames might be English words, especially among younger generations and urban Thais. This is where you get Bank and Golf and Film. Sometimes the nickname has a connection to the person's interests or characteristics, but often it is just a name the parents thought sounded nice or modern. These English nicknames became popular as Thailand modernized and English became an important language for business and tourism. Parents wanted names that foreigners could pronounce, names that sounded international, names that might give their children a small advantage in a globalizing world. The result is a country where you can meet a business executive named Toy, a university professor named Pui, a taxi driver named Apple. The nicknames are used universally. Friends use them. Colleagues use them. Even in formal settings, people might introduce themselves by nickname. In Thai social interaction, formality is conveyed not through using surnames or formal names, but through the addition of titles like Kun before the nickname. So someone might be Kun Bank, Kun Golf, adding respect while still using the familiar nickname. For foreigners, this system is wonderfully practical. Thai formal names can be difficult for non-Thai speakers to pronounce correctly. The tones, the consonant clusters, the vowel sounds, all of these can be challenging. But everyone can pronounce Bank or Golf or Fern. The nicknames create accessibility, make social interaction easier, allow for friendliness and connection without the awkwardness of repeatedly mispronouncing someone's name. They also create a sense of informality and approachability that characterizes Thai social interactions. Using someone's nickname immediately makes the interaction feel friendly, relaxed, familiar. It breaks down barriers, creates a sense that you are talking with a friend rather than a formal acquaintance. Everywhere you go in Thailand you will see monks. They walk the streets in their saffron robes, bright orange fabric that stands out vividly against the greens and grays of the urban landscape. They ride buses, they wait at train stations, they walk through markets, they sit in parks. The orange robes mark them as men who have renounced worldly life, who have committed themselves at least temporarily to the Buddhist path. Becoming a monk is a rite of passage for most Thai men. It is not required, but it is strongly encouraged, deeply ingrained in Thai culture as something that young men should do, ideally before they marry, before they fully enter adult life. The period of ordination can be as short as a few weeks or as long as several months, though some men choose to remain monks for years or for life. The most common time for temporary ordination is during the Buddhist Lent period, Phansa, which lasts for 3 months during the rainy season. Young men enter the monkhood, live in temples, follow the monastic rules, study Buddhist teachings, meditate, and participate in the daily routines of monastic life. The decision to ordain is often made in consultation with family, especially with mothers. Becoming a monk earns merit, positive karmic energy, and this merit is believed to transfer to the ordinand's parents, especially the mother. It is a way of repaying the debt of gratitude owed to parents for raising you, for all the sacrifices they made, for the love and care they provided. A son ordaining as a monk is one of the greatest gifts he can give his parents. It brings them honor, earns them merit that will benefit them in this life and future lives, and fulfills a deep cultural expectation. For the young man himself, the experience of being a monk is transformative. The monastic life is simple, disciplined, focused on spiritual practice. Monks wake before dawn, participate in chanting and meditation, go on alms rounds to collect food from lay people, eat 1 or 2 meals before noon and nothing after, spend the day in study or temple duties or meditation, and sleep on simple mats in sparse quarters. They follow the 227 rules of the monastic code, the Vinaya, which govern everything from what they can own to how they interact with lay people to how they eat and sleep and dress. Monks cannot touch women, cannot handle money, cannot eat after noon, cannot sleep on high or luxurious beds, cannot engage in entertainment, cannot own more than a few possessions. The life strips away the comforts and distractions of ordinary existence, creates space for introspection, for understanding the Buddhist teachings not just intellectually but experientially. For many Thai men, the time spent as a monk is a period of growth, of clarity, of connection to something larger than themselves. Even those who ordain only briefly, who return to lay life after a few weeks, carry the experience with them. They have walked the path, worn the robes, lived the teachings, and this shapes who they are. In Thai society, having been a monk confers respect. It shows that you have taken your spiritual life seriously, that you have fulfilled your duty to your parents, that you understand sacrifice and discipline. Monks themselves are treated with enormous respect. Lay people vie to them deeply, offer them food and support, defer to them in social situations. Monks sit in special seats on buses, are given priority in lines, are honored in every temple and home they enter. This respect is not personal. It is respect for the robes, for what the robes represent, for the commitment to the Buddhist path that the monk has undertaken. A monk might be young, even a teenager, but the robes command respect regardless of age. Women cannot be ordained as monks in Thai Theravada Buddhism, though there are Mae Chi, women who shave their heads and wear white robes and live monastic lives. But Mae Chi do not have the same status as monks, are not part of the official monastic hierarchy, and their role is more limited. This gender restriction is a source of ongoing discussion in Thai Buddhism, but for now, full ordination remains a male domain. The presence of monks throughout daily Thai life is a constant reminder of the centrality of Buddhism to Thai culture. Buddhism is not something practiced only on special occasions or confined to temples. It is woven into the fabric of everyday existence. Monks are part of the community, visible and active, teaching and blessing and providing spiritual guidance. Their presence sanctifies the ordinary, brings the sacred into the everyday, reminds everyone that there is a spiritual dimension to existence that transcends the material concerns of daily life. When hunger strikes in Thailand, you are standing in what many consider the world's street food capital. Food is everywhere. It spills out of shop houses onto sidewalks, fills night markets with smoke and sizzle, appears on carts pushed through neighborhoods, emerges from temporary stalls set up at dawn and dismantled at dusk. The variety is staggering. Noodle soup steaming in giant pots, sauté grilling over charcoal, papaya salad being pounded in mortars, sticky rice steaming in bamboo baskets, fried insects glistening on trays, fresh fruit cut and arranged with artistic precision, sweets and colors you have never seen food be before. Street food in Thailand is not a compromise or a cheap alternative to restaurant dining. It is cuisine in its purest form, recipes passed down through generations, techniques refined over decades, flavors balanced with the precision of skilled cooks who have made the same dish thousands of times. Some of the best food you will eat in Thailand will come from a cart on a street corner, prepared by someone who has been making that one dish, just that dish, for 20 or 30 years. The street food culture is deeply embedded in Thai urban life. Many Thai people, especially in cities, eat out more than they cook at home. Apartments and condos often have minimal kitchens, sometimes just a rice cooker and a hot plate, because cooking facilities are less necessary when you can step outside and find excellent, affordable food on every block. In Bangkok, street food vendors operate around the clock. You can find congee for breakfast at 5 in the morning, pad cew for lunch at noon, grilled pork skewers for an afternoon snack, boat noodles for dinner, and fried rice or drunken noodles at 2 in the morning when you stumble out of a nightclub. The food is fresh, made to order, cooked in front of you so you can see exactly what goes into your meal. Vendors specialize. One might make only som tam, green papaya salad, pounding the ingredients in a clay mortar with a wooden pestle, adjusting the heat and sourness to your preference. Another makes only boat noodles, the rich, dark broth simmered for hours, ladled into small bowls, each bowl just a few mouthfuls, meant to be eaten quickly and followed by another bowl if you are still hungry. Another makes only pad crapo, stir-fried basil with pork or chicken or seafood, served over rice with a fried egg on top, the egg yolk running into the rice when you break it. The specialization creates excellence. When you do one thing over and over, you perfect it. You learn exactly how hot the wok needs to be, exactly when to add the fish sauce, exactly how long to stir before serving. You develop an intuition that transcends recipe, a feel for the food that comes from repetition and attention. Eating street food is also theater. You watch the vendor work, see the flames leap when oil hits the hot wok, hear the sizzle, smell the garlic and chilies and basil. The cooking is performative, confident, efficient. Vendors move quickly, handling multiple orders at once, never seeming rushed, every movement economical and purposeful. They remember orders without writing them down, know their regular customers, adjust spice levels with a glance and a nod. The food comes hot and fresh, served on thin plastic plates or in plastic bags, eaten at wobbly metal tables on tiny stools, or taken away to eat elsewhere. There is no pretension, no unnecessary presentation. The food speaks for itself. You might order pad thai, probably the most internationally famous Thai dish, the one that appears on every Thai menu outside Thailand, the dish that has become synonymous with Thai cuisine for many foreigners. It is delicious, a balance of sweet and sour and salty, rice noodles stir-fried with egg, tofu, shrimp or chicken, bean sprouts, garlic chives, all tossed together with tamarind paste, fish sauce, palm sugar, dried shrimp, topped with crushed peanuts and a wedge of lime, sometimes a sprinkle of chili flakes. It is comfort food, satisfying, not too spicy, approachable for those unfamiliar with Thai cuisine. But Pad Thai, despite its status as the national dish, is a relatively recent invention. It was created in the 1930s during the government of Prime Minister Plaek Phibun Songkhram, commonly known as Phibun. This was a period of intense nationalism in Thailand, then still called Siam. Phibun was modernizing the country, promoting Thai identity, encouraging people to adopt certain behaviors and customs that were considered modern and nationalistic. Part of this campaign involved promoting a national dish, something distinctly Thai that could be eaten throughout the country, that would reduce rice consumption during a time of shortage, and that would create a sense of national unity through shared cuisine. Pad Thai was promoted through government campaigns. Noodle carts were subsidized, recipes were distributed, people were encouraged to eat this new dish. The name itself, Pad Thai, means Thai-style stir-fry, claiming the dish as definitively and authentically Thai, even though stir-fried noodles are common throughout Asia and the technique and even some ingredients show Chinese influence. But the campaign worked. Pad Thai became popular, spread throughout the country, and eventually became the dish that foreigners associate most strongly with Thailand. It is a perfect example of invented tradition, of how food can be used to create national identity, of how something relatively new can become so embedded in culture that it feels ancient and authentic. Knowing this history does not make Pad Thai less delicious. It simply adds another layer of understanding to what you are eating, reminds you that cuisine is not static, that it evolves and adapts and sometimes is created deliberately for political and social purposes. You will definitely eat rice in Thailand. Rice is not just a food here, it is the foundation of cuisine, the centerpiece of every meal, the substance around which everything else is organized. The Thai word for eat, kin khao, literally means eat rice. Other foods, curries and stir-fries and soups and salads, are called kap khao, things eaten with rice. Rice is assumed, essential, the default. A meal without rice is not really a meal. Thailand is the world's top exporter of jasmine rice, a long-grain variety known for its fragrance, slightly sticky texture when cooked, and delicate flavor. Jasmine rice, named for its aroma which some compare to the scent of jasmine flowers, is grown primarily in the northeastern and northern regions of Thailand. The conditions there, the soil, the climate, the water, create rice of exceptional quality. Thai jasmine rice is prized internationally, exported to countries around the world, considered a premium product. But in Thailand it is everyday food, the rice that appears at every meal, steamed and served in bowls or on plates, the neutral base that balances the intense flavors of Thai dishes. Rice cultivation has shaped Thailand in profound ways. The central plains of Thailand, the region around Bangkok, are some of the most productive rice-growing areas in the world. The Chao Phraya River and its tributaries flood annually, depositing nutrient-rich silt, creating ideal conditions for rice. For centuries, the Thai economy was built on rice. Kingdoms rose and fell based on their ability to control rice production and trade. Social hierarchies were organized around rice land ownership. Festivals and rituals marked the rice-growing cycle. Even today, despite industrialization and economic diversification, rice remains central to Thai identity. The king traditionally participates in the royal plowing ceremony, an ancient ritual that marks the beginning of the rice-growing season, blessing the land and ensuring good harvests. Rice farming is hard work, labor-intensive, dependent on the rains, vulnerable to flooding and drought and pests. But it is also deeply ingrained in rural Thai life, a way of living that connects people to the land, to the seasons, to traditions that stretch back centuries. When you eat rice in Thailand, you are participating in this history, tasting the result of labor and land and water and sun combining to create sustenance. When your food arrives, do not ask for chopsticks. This is a common mistake made by foreigners who assume that all Asian countries use chopsticks. They do not. In Thailand, the standard utensils are a spoon and a fork. The spoon, held in the right hand, is the primary eating utensil. The fork, held in the left hand, is used to push food onto the spoon. You do not put the fork in your mouth. You use it as a kind of edible bulldozer, guiding rice and curry and vegetables onto the spoon, which then goes to your mouth. This system is efficient and practical for Thai food, which often involves rice and saucy dishes that would be difficult to manage with chopsticks. Chopsticks are used in Thailand, but only for certain dishes, primarily noodle soups and other noodle dishes that have Chinese origins. If you order a bowl of kwai teo rice noodle soup, chopsticks and a soup spoon will be provided. The chopsticks are for the noodles, the spoon is for the broth. But for rice-based meals, which is most Thai food, spoon and fork are the tools. Before the introduction of the spoon and fork, which came with Western influence in the 19th century, Thai people ate with their hands. In some regions, particularly in the north and northeast, eating sticky rice with your hands is still common and traditional. You take a small amount of sticky rice, roll it into a ball with your fingers, dip it in a sauce or use it to pick up pieces of grilled meat or vegetables and eat it. There is a technique to this, a way of shaping the rice ball so it holds together, a knack for using it to grab other food without making a mess. Eating with your hands creates a different relationship with food, a tactile connection, a way of engaging more senses in the meal. But in most contexts, especially in central Thailand and in cities, the spoon and fork are standard. Using them correctly, not putting the fork in your mouth, shows that you understand Thai dining etiquette, that you are not just eating Thai food but eating it the Thai way. Every dish you eat in Thailand is built on a foundation of balance, a careful interplay of four fundamental flavors: sweet, sour, salty, and spicy. This is not accidental. It is intentional, a philosophy of cooking that seeks harmony, that avoids letting any one flavor dominate, that creates complexity through balance. A good Thai dish hits all four notes, sometimes subtly, sometimes boldly, but always in a way that allows each flavor to be tasted without overwhelming the others. Sweetness comes from palm sugar, a rich, caramel-like sugar made from the sap of palm trees, or from cane sugar, or sometimes from sweet vegetables like carrots or from the natural sweetness of certain proteins. Sourness comes from lime juice, tamarind paste, vinegar, or from sour fruits like green mango. Saltiness comes from fish sauce, the fermented condiment made from anchovies that is fundamental to Thai cooking, or from soy sauce, or from shrimp paste, or from salt itself. Spiciness comes from chilies, fresh or dried, ground into paste or sliced into salads or floated whole in soups. These four flavors are balanced differently in different dishes. Assam tam green papaya salad is aggressively sour and spicy, with sweetness and salt providing support. A masaman curry is rich and sweet, with warmth from spices rather than fiery heat from chilies. A tom yum soup is sour and spicy and salty with very little sweetness. A pad kroppo basil stir-fry is salty and spicy with a touch of sweetness. But even within these variations there is balance. There is attention to how the flavors interact, how they build on each other, how they create a whole that is more than the sum of its parts. This philosophy of balance reflects broader Thai values. The Buddhist middle path, the avoidance of extremes, the seeking of harmony, these principles are expressed through cuisine. A dish that is only spicy, only sweet, only salty, is considered unbalanced, unsuccessful, unsatisfying. The goal is not to make food as extreme as possible in one direction, but to create complexity, to engage the palate fully, to satisfy in a way that is complete and rounded. Watch out for bird's eye chilies. They are small, deceptively so, no bigger than a fingertip, bright green or red depending on ripeness, innocent looking, almost cute. They are also devastatingly spicy. These tiny chilies, called prick quinoa in Thai, which translates roughly to mouse droppings chilies, a reference to their size, pack heat that can overwhelm the unprepared. They are used liberally in Thai cooking, added to stir-fries, pounded into curry pastes, floated in soups, sliced into salads. The heat is not just intensity, it is also quality. Bird's eye chilies have a sharp, immediate heat that hits fast and lingers, that builds with each bite, that can make your eyes water and your nose run and your lips tingle. For Thai people, especially those from regions like Isan in the northeast where spicy food is a point of pride, this heat is not punishment, it is pleasure. It wakes up the palate, stimulates appetite, makes you sweat in a way that actually cools you down in the tropical heat, releases endorphins that create a mild euphoria. But for those not accustomed to serious spice, bird's eye chilies can be shocking, can turn a meal into an endurance test, can make it impossible to taste anything else. Thai cooks know this, and they are usually happy to adjust the heat level if you ask. The phrase "my pet, not spicy" will result in a dish with little to no chilies. Pet nit noi, a little spicy, gives you a moderate amount of heat. Pet spicy is what Thai people would consider normal, which might still be quite hot for an unaccustomed palate. Pet mac, very spicy, is for those who want to suffer, who want the full intensity of Thai heat. Vendors and restaurant staff can usually gauge from looking at you whether you are likely to handle Thai-level spice, and they may automatically reduce the heat for foreign customers. This is kindness, not condescension, an attempt to ensure you enjoy your meal rather than spending it gasping and reaching for water. If you want the real deal, you need to convince them you can handle it, and even then they may be skeptical until they see you eating without distress. That creamy curry you are eating, the rich sauce coating your vegetables and meat coating your rice, that is not dairy. Thailand is not a dairy-consuming culture. Traditional Thai cuisine uses almost no milk, cheese, butter, or cream. The creaminess in Thai curries comes from coconut milk, the liquid extracted from grated coconut flesh, rich in fat, thick and white and luscious. Coconut milk gives Thai curries their body, their richness, their ability to coat the tongue and carry flavors. It is used in different concentrations. Thick coconut cream, the first pressing, is rich and heavy, used to start curries, fried with curry paste until the oil separates and everything becomes fragrant. Thinner coconut milk is added later, creating the sauce, providing liquid, balancing the thickness. Coconut milk is also used in desserts, in sweet sticky rice with mango and coconut custards, in various Thai sweets that combine coconut with palm sugar and rice flour and other ingredients to create treats that are rich and sweet and satisfying. The absence of dairy is practical. In tropical climates before refrigeration, dairy products spoiled quickly. Cows in Thailand were used for labor, for pulling plows and carts, not for milk. The diet developed around what was available and sustainable, and that meant coconut, not dairy. Coconut palms grow abundantly in Thailand, especially in the south. They provide not just coconut milk but also coconut water, coconut meat, coconut oil, materials for building and weaving. They are incredibly useful plants, and their centrality to Thai cuisine reflects their importance to Thai life. For visitors who are lactose intolerant or who avoid dairy for other reasons, Thai food is wonderfully accommodating. You can eat richly and well without encountering milk or cheese. Of course, modern Thailand has adopted some dairy. You can find milk and yogurt and cheese in supermarkets. Western-style cafes serve lattes and cappuccinos. and some fusion restaurants use dairy in their dishes. But traditional Thai cuisine remains dairy-free, built on coconut and fish sauce and the abundant produce and proteins of Southeast Asia. You might smell durian before you see it. The smell is unmistakable, powerful, penetrating, a scent that provokes strong reactions. Some people describe it as sweet and custardy, others as rotten onions or sewage, others as a combination of gym socks and overripe fruit. The smell of durian is so strong and so divisive that the fruit is banned in many hotels, in airports, in subways and buses, anywhere enclosed where the smell might become overwhelming. Signs prohibit durian, showing the spiky fruit with a red line through it, a warning that this fruit is not welcome. Despite or perhaps because of its challenging aroma, durian is beloved in Thailand and throughout Southeast Asia. It is called the King of Fruits, a title that acknowledges both its status and its demanding nature. Durian is expensive, a luxury item, something you buy for special occasions or as a treat. The fruit is large, football-sized or bigger, covered in hard, sharp spikes that require care and handling. Inside, the flesh is soft and creamy, divided into segments, pale yellow or white depending on the variety, with a texture like rich custard. The taste, for those who can get past the smell, is complex and unique. It is sweet, intensely so, with flavors that people variously describe as vanilla, caramel, almond, or something entirely unlike anything else. It is rich, almost overwhelming, a fruit you eat in small amounts because the intensity is such that a little goes a long way. Durian is also heating in the traditional Thai medicinal understanding, a food that raises your body temperature, that should be consumed carefully, perhaps balanced with mangosteen, which is considered cooling. Thai people have strong opinions about durian. Many love it passionately, seek out the best varieties, pay high prices for premium durians, discuss the relative merits of different types the way wine enthusiasts discuss vintages. Others cannot stand it, find the smell nauseating, avoid it entirely. There is not much middle ground with durian. It is a fruit that demands a reaction, that does not allow indifference. For visitors, trying durian is almost a rite of passage, a dare, a thing you do to prove you are adventurous, to experience something uniquely Southeast Asian. Some try it and love it, converted instantly into durian enthusiasts. Others try it and regret it, unable to finish even a single piece, reaching for water or beer or anything to wash away the taste. If you are going to try durian, buy it fresh from a vendor who will open it for you, selecting ripe segments, helping you navigate the experience. Or try durian in other forms, durian candy, durian ice cream, durian pastries, where the flavor is present but perhaps less intense, where the smell is less immediate. But trying fresh durian, letting the smell wash over you, tasting the creamy flesh, making your own judgment about this controversial king of fruits, is part of the full Thai food experience, a moment of sensory overload, a food memory that will stay with you whether you loved it or hated it. Thirsty? If you order a beer, do not be surprised when it arrives with a glass full of ice. This seems strange to visitors from countries where beer is served cold but never iced, where adding ice to beer would be considered an abomination, a way to water down the drink and ruin the flavor. But in Thailand, iced beer is standard. The reason is practical. It is hot. Astonishingly, relentlessly hot. A cold beer warms up quickly in the tropical heat, especially if you are sitting outside, which you often are, at a street-side restaurant or a beer garden or a night market. Adding ice keeps the beer cold longer, provides relief, makes the drink refreshing throughout, not just for the first few sips. Thai beer is also often fairly light in flavor, lagers designed to be refreshing rather than complex, beers like Singa, Chong, and Leo that are meant to be drunk cold and quickly, to quench thirst, to accompany spicy food, to facilitate socializing rather than to be sipped and contemplated. Adding ice suits this purpose. keeps the beer at the temperature where it tastes best, where it provides maximum refreshment. Beer drinking in Thailand is social, communal, often accompanied by food. You do not typically drink beer alone or without eating. You order beer with friends, share plates of food, snack on peanuts or dried fish or spicy sausages, talk and laugh and pour drinks for each other. Pouring drinks for others is important in Thai drinking culture. You do not pour your own drink. You pour for others and they pour for yours. It is a gesture of respect and friendship, a way of maintaining connection, of showing that you are paying attention to the people you are with. You keep an eye on your companion's glasses, topping them up when they get low, offering to open another bottle when needed. The drinking is relaxed, steady, not rushed. The goal is not to get drunk quickly but to enjoy the evening, the company, the food, the gradual loosening that comes with a few beers shared among friends. Thai beer is relatively affordable, especially when bought at shops or street vendors rather than in upscale bars. A large bottle of Chong or Leo costs just a bit more than a soda, making it an accessible pleasure, a way to unwind after work, to celebrate small occasions, to mark the transition from day to night. Venturing out of the city, leaving behind the traffic and the concrete and the constant hum of urban life, you enter a different Thailand, a Thailand of forests and rivers and mountains and coastlines, a Thailand where nature still holds power, where wildlife still roams, where the rhythms of life follow the sun and the seasons rather than the clock. And here, in the forests and national parks and elephant sanctuaries scattered across the country, you will find the Thai elephant, the national symbol, the animal that has been intertwined with Thai history and culture for as long as history has been recorded. The elephant is not just a symbol on flags and in folklore. It is a living presence, a creature that still exists in Thailand both in the wild and in captivity, though in far smaller numbers than in centuries past. Wild elephants survive in protected areas, in national parks in the mountains of the north and west, in the forests that remain despite deforestation and development. These wild populations are small, maybe 3,000 elephants across the entire country, a fraction of what once existed, but they persist, moving through the forests, occasionally coming into conflict with human settlements, raiding crops, sometimes causing damage, reminders that they were here first, that this was their land before it was farmland or villages or roads. Domesticated elephants number perhaps another 3,000 to 4,000. Elephants that work in tourism, that perform in shows, that give rides to visitors, that live in elephant camps and sanctuaries of varying quality and ethics. The relationship between Thai people and elephants is ancient and complex. For centuries, elephants were essential to Thai kingdoms. They were war machines, carrying kings and warriors into battle, their size and strength making them formidable weapons. Historical accounts describe battles where elephants fought each other, where kings engaged in elephant duels, where the tide of war turned based on the skill and courage of elephant-mounted warriors. Elephants were also tools of industry, particularly in the logging industry that was once a major part of the Thai economy. They moved massive teak logs from forests where machines could not go, their intelligence and strength making them ideal for this work. Mahouts, elephant handlers, would work with the same elephant for years, developing deep bonds, understanding the animal's personality and moods, communicating through touch and voice and subtle signals. But the logging industry has declined, logging bans have been enacted to protect remaining forests, and the traditional role of elephants has diminished. Now, elephants in captivity mostly work in tourism, and this has created ethical complications. Some elephant camps are exploitative, keeping elephants in poor conditions, forcing them to perform tricks, allowing tourists to ride them in ways that can damage the animal's spines and spirit. Other sanctuaries are ethical, providing elephants with good care, allowing them to live in semi-natural conditions, educating visitors about conservation, prohibiting riding and shows. Knowing the difference, choosing to support ethical sanctuaries rather than exploitative camps, is important for anyone who wants to see elephants in Thailand. The best sanctuaries let you observe elephants behaving naturally, bathing in rivers, foraging, interacting with each other. You might help prepare food for them, feeding them pumpkins and bananas and sugar cane, watching their trunks delicately select and consume the offerings. You might walk with them through the forest, keeping a respectful distance, seeing them in something approaching their natural habitat. The experience of being near an elephant is overwhelming in the best way. They are massive, far larger than you can quite comprehend until you are standing next to one, their skin rough and warm, their eyes surprisingly expressive, their movements deliberate and careful despite their size. They are intelligent, curious, playful, emotional. They remember, they grieve, they form bonds, they have personalities. Spending time with elephants, even briefly, helps you understand why they hold such a special place in Thai culture, why they appear in art and literature and religion, why they are revered and protected despite the challenges of conservation in a developing country. The elephant is a link to Thailand's past, a reminder of a time when humans and nature existed in closer proximity, when animals were partners rather than resources, when the wild was not something separate from human life but an integral part of it. White elephants occupy an even more exalted place in Thai history and culture. Not albinos, which are different, white elephants are elephants with lighter skin, sometimes pinkish or pale gray rather than the typical dark gray, usually with some combination of other characteristics like white nails, white hairs, light-colored eyes. True white elephants are rare, and historically when one was found, it was immediately claimed by the king. All white elephants belonged to the monarchy, a law that was absolute and unquestioned. To possess a white elephant without royal permission was treason, a crime that could result in severe punishment. The white elephant was considered sacred, an embodiment of royal power and divine favor, an animal that brought prestige and legitimacy to whoever possessed it. The more white elephants a king had, the greater his spiritual merit and political power. Neighboring kingdoms would send white elephants as tribute, acknowledging Thai supremacy. Wars were fought over white elephants. One famous conflict in the 16th century, the Burmese-Siamese War, is sometimes called the War of the White Elephants, fought partly over the refusal of the Thai king to send white elephants to Burma as tribute. White elephants were housed in special quarters, fed the finest food, attended by servants, treated with the respect due to royalty. They participated in royal ceremonies, were paraded on important occasions, served as symbols of the kingdom's strength and prosperity. The expression white elephant, meaning a burdensome possession, actually comes from this tradition. The legend, though historically questionable, suggests that Thai kings would gift white elephants to courtiers they wished to ruin, because the expense of maintaining the sacred animal, which could not be put to work or used practically because of its status, would bankrupt the recipient. Whether this actually happened or not, the phrase entered English and persists, testament to how Thai royal customs traveled beyond the kingdom's borders. Today, white elephants still belong to the king. When one is discovered, it is examined by experts to determine if it meets the criteria, and if it does, it is brought to royal care. The current king keeps several white elephants, continuing a tradition that stretches back centuries. They are symbols of continuity, of the unbroken thread of Thai monarchy, of the sacred connection between the king and the land and the divine. Thailand is home to remarkable extremes of size in the animal kingdom. At one end of the spectrum is Kitty's hog-nosed bat, also called the bumblebee bat, which holds the distinction of being the world's smallest mammal. This tiny creature weighs less than a penny, about 2 grams, and measures just over an inch in length. It looks more like an insect than a mammal, with a pig-like nose, no tail, and wings that seem impossibly delicate. Kitty's hog-nosed bat was discovered in the 1970s in western Thailand, in limestone caves near the border with Myanmar. It remains one of the rarest and least understood mammals on Earth, living in very small populations in very specific habitats, roosting in caves, emerging at dusk to hunt for tiny insects in the forests. The bat is endangered, threatened by habitat loss, by disturbance of its cave homes, by the general pressures that all wildlife in Thailand faces as forests shrink and human populations expand. Seeing one requires effort, knowledge of where they roost, the right timing, a willingness to venture into remote caves. But knowing that this tiniest of mammals exists in Thailand adds another layer to the country's biodiversity, a reminder that size is not a measure of significance, that even the smallest creatures have their role in the ecosystem. At the other extreme is the whale shark, the largest fish in the world, a gentle giant that can reach lengths of 40 feet or more, weighing tens of thousands of pounds. Whale sharks are not uncommon in Thai waters, particularly in the Andaman Sea on the west coast and in the Gulf of Thailand on the east. They are filter feeders, swimming slowly through the water with their enormous mouths open, straining plankton and small fish from the sea. Despite their size, they are harmless to humans, docile and curious, often allowing divers and snorkelers to swim alongside them. Encountering a whale shark while diving or snorkeling is an unforgettable experience. The sheer scale of the animal is difficult to process. A fish larger than a bus, drifting past you with slow, powerful movements of its tail, its spotted skin distinctive and beautiful, its tiny eye regarding you with what seems like mild interest. Whale sharks appear in Thai waters seasonally, following plankton blooms, and dive operators in places like the Similan Islands and Koh Tao offer trips specifically aimed at finding them. There are no guarantees in wildlife watching, but the possibility of sharing the water with the world's largest fish draws divers from around the world. That both the smallest mammal and the largest fish live in Thailand speaks to the country's incredible biodiversity, to the range of habitats from mountain forests to coral reefs, from caves to open ocean, each supporting different communities of life. Thailand sits in the Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot, one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth, home to thousands of species of plants and animals, many of them found nowhere else. This richness comes with responsibility, a need for conservation, for protecting habitats, for balancing development with preservation. Thailand has made efforts, establishing national parks, creating protected areas, passing laws to protect endangered species. But challenges remain, pressures from population growth, from economic development, from illegal wildlife trade, from climate change. The animals and plants of Thailand, from the smallest bat to the largest fish, exist in a landscape increasingly shaped by human activity, their survival dependent on choices made about how to use land, how to manage resources, how to balance human needs with the needs of the natural world. Heading south, the landscape changes. The mountains and forests of the north give way to the long, narrow peninsula that stretches down toward Malaysia, a strip of land bordered on the west by the Andaman Sea and on the east by the Gulf of Thailand. Here, Thailand becomes a country of islands, of beaches, of turquoise water and white sand and limestone cliffs rising from the sea. Thailand has over 1,400 islands, scattered along both coasts, ranging from tiny uninhabited rocks to large, developed islands with airports and resorts and bustling towns. Some of these islands are among the most famous beach destinations in the world. Phuket, the largest Thai island, is a major tourist hub, with beautiful beaches, luxury resorts, vibrant nightlife, and a mix of Thai and international culture. Koh Samui in the Gulf of Thailand offers palm-fringed beaches, beach bungalows, and a laid-back island vibe, though it too has developed significantly with upscale resorts and villas. Koh Phi Phi, made famous by the movie The Beach, features dramatic limestone formations, crystal-clear water, and beaches that seem almost unreal in their perfection. Koh Tao, smaller and quieter, is a diving mecca, surrounded by coral reefs, schools of fish, and the occasional whale shark. But beyond the famous islands are hundreds of others, lesser known, less developed, some accessible only by long-tail boat, some protected as national marine parks, some inhabited by small communities of fishermen, some completely uninhabited. Island hopping is a popular activity in southern Thailand. Renting a boat or joining a tour, spending days moving from island to island, snorkeling in hidden coves, eating fresh seafood at beachside restaurants, watching the sun set over the Andaman Sea. Each island has its own character, its own community or lack thereof, its own particular beauty. Some islands are rocky and dramatic, with cliffs and caves and hidden lagoons. Others are flat and sandy, with mangrove forests and quiet beaches. Some have been developed with care, with resorts that blend into the landscape, with efforts to protect coral reefs and marine life. Others have been overdeveloped, with too many hotels, too much waste, too much pressure on fragile ecosystems. The tension between tourism and conservation is acute in the Thai islands. Tourism brings money, jobs, development, opportunities for people who might otherwise make a living through fishing or subsistence farming. But it also brings pressure, plastic waste, damage to coral reefs from boats and anchors, noise and light that disturb wildlife, construction that destroys mangrove forests and coastal ecosystems. Some islands have been closed temporarily to allow recovery, most famously Maya Bay on Koh Phi Phi Le, which was closed for several years to let coral reefs regenerate after years of damage from too many boats and tourists. Finding the balance, allowing people to visit and enjoy these incredible places while protecting them for future generations, is an ongoing challenge. For visitors, being mindful of your impact, choosing responsible tour operators, avoiding activities that damage reefs like walking on coral or using harmful sunscreen, taking your trash with you, respecting marine life, these are ways to enjoy the islands while minimizing harm. The jungles of Thailand are full of color, bursting with flowers that bloom in shades and combinations that seem almost artificial in their intensity. Among these flowers, orchids stand out, delicate and exotic, growing wild in forests, cultivated in greenhouses, exported around the world. Thailand is the world's #1 exporter of orchids, shipping millions of blooms annually to markets in Europe, North America, Asia. The orchid industry is significant, employing thousands of people, generating substantial revenue, making Thailand synonymous with these elegant flowers. Thai orchids come in countless varieties, from tiny blooms smaller than a fingernail to large, showy flowers bigger than your hand, in colors from pure white to deep purple, spotted and striped and solid, some fragrant, some not, some long-lasting, some ephemeral. Walking through a Thai forest, especially in the north where many orchid species are native, you might see them growing on trees, their roots clinging to bark, drawing moisture from the air, blooming in impossible places where there seems to be no soil to support them. Orchids are epiphytes, plants that grow on other plants without parasitizing them, using trees merely as perches to gain access to light and air. This adaptation allows them to thrive in dense forests where the ground is dark and crowded, finding their niche in the canopy and understory. Cultivated orchids are everywhere in Thailand, in hotel lobbies, in restaurants, in homes, at temples where they are offered to Buddha images. They are popular gifts, symbols of beauty and refinement, appropriate for many occasions. The orchid has become so associated with Thailand that it appears in branding, in tourism materials, in decorative arts. The Queen Sirikit Botanic Garden in Chiang Mai has extensive orchid collections, greenhouses full of species from Thailand and around the world, a living library of orchid diversity. Visiting such collections, seeing the variety and beauty of orchids, understanding the work that goes into cultivating and hybridizing them, gives you appreciation for why these flowers have captivated humans for centuries, why they are sought after, prized, grown with dedication and skill. Even in the urban jungle of Bangkok, nature persists in surprising ways. In parks and along canals, in temple grounds and even in busy city streets, You might encounter water monitor lizards, large reptiles that seem prehistoric, alien, out of place in a modern metropolis. These monitors can grow to 6 feet or more in length, muscular and powerful, with long tails, sharp claws, and a forked tongue that flicks in and out as they taste the air. They are impressive and somewhat intimidating, though they are generally not aggressive toward humans unless cornered or threatened. Water monitors are semi-aquatic, equally comfortable swimming in canals and ponds as walking on land. They eat a varied diet, scavenging for fish, frogs, birds, eggs, carrion, garbage, whatever they can find. In Bangkok, they have adapted to urban life, learning to navigate the city's waterways, finding food in parks and markets, coexisting with millions of people. Seeing a water monitor for the first time can be startling. You are walking through Lumpini Park in the heart of Bangkok, surrounded by joggers and Tai Chi practitioners and people feeding fish in the ponds, and suddenly there is a 6-foot lizard ambling across the path, utterly unconcerned with your presence, its scales glistening, its tongue flicking, looking like something that should be in a nature documentary, not in the middle of a city park. But Bangkokians are accustomed to these creatures. They give them space, avoid feeding them, occasionally call authorities if one appears in a problematic location, but generally accept them as part of the city's wildlife. The monitors are a reminder that Bangkok, despite its development, despite the concrete and steel and glass, is still a tropical city, still a place where nature finds ways to survive and adapt. Other animals make their homes in Bangkok too, monkeys in some temple areas, birds of many species, fish and turtles in the canals, bats roosting under bridges, insects everywhere. The city is not separate from nature but built atop it, and nature persists in the cracks and margins, adapting, surviving, sometimes thriving. Thailand is the original home of the Siamese cat, the breed that has become famous worldwide for its striking appearance and vocal personality. The Siamese cat is one of the oldest and most recognizable cat breeds, characterized by its color point pattern, with a pale body and darker color on the ears, face, paws, and tail, and by its bright blue almond-shaped eyes. In Thailand, these cats are called Wichianmat, which means moon diamond, a poetic name that captures their elegance and the luminous quality of their eyes. Siamese cats appear in ancient Thai manuscripts, depicted in the Tamra Mew, a collection of cat poems dating back centuries, where they are described as one of the auspicious breeds, cats that bring good fortune. They were kept by royalty and in temples, valued for their beauty and their supposed protective qualities. In the late 19th century, Siamese cats were brought to Europe and America, where they became popular as exotic pets, prized for their appearance and their talkative, affectionate nature. The Siamese cats seen in the West today have often been bred to accentuate certain features, creating cats with very angular faces, large ears, slender bodies, a look quite different from the traditional Siamese cats still found in Thailand. Thai Siamese cats, sometimes called traditional or old-style Siamese, have rounder faces, less extreme body shapes, a look closer to what the breed originally was before Western breeding programs changed it. In Thailand, you might see cats that resemble Siamese wandering around temples, sitting in the shade, climbing trees, living semi-feral lives but fed and cared for by monks and lay people. These cats are considered lucky, their presence a blessing. They are not treated as strays in the negative sense but as part of the temple community, as residents with their own rights and place. The reverence for these cats is part of a broader Thai respect for animals, rooted in Buddhist teachings about compassion for all living beings, about the accumulation of merit through kind treatment of animals, about the interconnectedness of all life. Before 1939, the land you are now exploring was known to the world as Siam, a name that carried centuries of history, that appeared on European maps and in travelers' accounts, that evoked images of an exotic eastern kingdom, mysterious and beautiful and remote. The name Siam is ancient, its origins debated by scholars, possibly derived from Sanskrit or Pali words, possibly from Chinese or Malay sources, the etymology lost in the mists of time. For centuries, this was how the kingdom identified itself to foreigners, how it signed treaties, how it was recognized in diplomatic circles. The Thai people had their own names for their land, names that changed with dynasties and capitals, but to the outside world this was Siam, the Kingdom of Siam, ruled by the kings of Siam, a name that suggested continuity stretching back into ancient history. The change from Siam to Thailand came in 1939, during the government of Prime Minister Phayabun, the same leader who promoted Pad Thai as the national dish. This was part of his nationalist agenda, an effort to modernize the country's image, to create a name that reflected the dominant ethnic group, the Thai people, and to assert a more contemporary identity on the world stage. The name change was controversial, both within the country and internationally. Some felt that Siam had historical weight, that it connected the kingdom to its past, that abandoning it was abandoning tradition. Others saw Thailand as a more accurate and modern name, one that emphasized the Thai people's identity and independence. The name was actually changed twice, briefly reverting to Siam in the mid-1940s before settling permanently on Thailand. Today, the name Siam carries nostalgia, appears in historical contexts, shows up in business names and cultural references, a ghost of the past that still haunts the present. When you see references to Siam in Thailand today, in the name of shopping centers like Siam Paragon, in cultural organizations like the Siam Society, you are seeing deliberate invocation of history, of a time before the modern era, of continuity with the ancient kingdom. The change from Siam to Thailand marks a pivot point in Thai history, a moment when the country was consciously reshaping its identity, moving from a kingdom defined by monarchy and tradition to a nation-state defined by nationalism and modernity, though in practice both elements, the old and the new, the monarchical and the nationalist, continue to coexist and define Thailand today. You can visit the ruins of Ayutthaya, the old capital, a UNESCO World Heritage Site located about 80 kilometers north of Bangkok, an hour's drive or a pleasant boat ride up the Chao Phraya River. Ayutthaya was not just the capital, it was one of the greatest cities in the world, a metropolis that in the 1700s rivaled London and Paris in population, wealth, and cultural sophistication. The city was founded in 1351 and served as the capital of the Siamese kingdom for over 400 years, a period of incredible prosperity and power. Ayutthaya sat on an island at the confluence of three rivers, a strategic location that made it both defensible and commercially advantageous. Rivers were the highways of the pre-modern world, and Ayutthaya's position allowed it to control trade flowing through the region, to tax commerce, to accumulate wealth. The city became a trading hub, attracting merchants from China, Japan, India, Persia, Arabia, and Europe. Portuguese, Dutch, French, and English traders established communities in Ayutthaya, built churches and warehouses, negotiated with Siamese kings for trading privileges. Accounts from European visitors describe Ayutthaya as magnificent, a city of golden temples, grand palaces, busy markets, with a cosmopolitan population and a level of sophistication that impressed even those coming from the great cities of Europe. The kings of Ayutthaya were absolute monarchs, wielding enormous power, commanding armies, building temples, patronizing the arts, accumulating treasures. The wealth of the kingdom was staggering, funded by trade, by rice exports, by tributary relationships with smaller kingdoms. At its height, Ayutthaya was home to perhaps 1 million people, an enormous population for the time, making it one of the largest cities on earth. The architecture was spectacular, hundreds of temples, palaces covered in gold leaf, Buddha images of enormous size and beauty, walls and fortifications protecting the city. Life in Ayutthaya was hierarchical, with the king at the top, followed by nobles, officials, merchants, artisans, farmers, and slaves at the bottom. Society was organized around Buddhism and the monarchy, with temples serving as centers of learning and culture, and the palace as the seat of political and spiritual power. But Ayutthaya's glory came to a sudden and violent end. In 1767, after a long series of wars with Burma, Burmese armies besieged and conquered the city. The siege lasted over a year, the city cut off, starving, desperate. When Ayutthaya finally fell, the Burmese sacked it completely, burning temples, destroying palaces, melting down golden Buddha images for their gold, taking prisoners as slaves, looting treasures accumulated over 4 centuries. The destruction was so complete that Ayutthaya was abandoned as a capital, too damaged to rebuild, too filled with ghosts and bad memories. The Siamese kingdom reformed, establishing a new capital at Thonburi and then Bangkok, but Ayutthaya was left in ruins, slowly being reclaimed by jungle, its temples crumbling, its palaces collapsing, nature growing over the remains of what had been one of the world's great cities. Today, visiting Ayutthaya is like walking through a graveyard of glory. The ruins are extensive, covering the entire island, temples rising from fields, headless Buddha statues sitting in meditation, brick and stucco structures eroded by time and weather. Some temples have been partially restored, giving you a sense of what they looked like in their prime, the soaring prangs, the tall Khmer-style towers, the rows of Buddha images. Other sites are completely ruined, just fragments of walls, piles of bricks, outlines of what were once grand structures. The most iconic image of Ayutthaya is perhaps the Buddha head entwined in the roots of a tree at Wat Mahathat, a sandstone head that has been gradually embraced by the growing tree, nature and culture merging in a way that is both beautiful and melancholy. Walking through Ayutthaya, you feel the weight of history, the impermanence that Buddhism teaches, the rise and fall of kingdoms, the fragility of human achievement. 400 years of prosperity, of art and culture and power, ended in a single year of war. The ruins are a reminder that nothing lasts, that glory fades, that cities fall, but they are also a testament to what was built, to the ambition and skill and vision of the people who created Ayutthaya, to a civilization that flourished and left its mark on history. In Bangkok, the Grand Palace has been the spectacular home of kings since 1782, when King Rama I established the new capital and built the palace as the center of his kingdom. The Grand Palace is not a single building but a complex, a walled city within the city, covering over 200,000 square meters, containing throne halls, government offices, temples, gardens, courtyards, residences. The architecture is stunning, buildings covered in gold leaf, roofs of orange and green tiles, walls decorated with intricate murals, columns wrapped in gold, every surface ornate and detailed. The palace was designed to impress, to demonstrate the power and legitimacy of the new dynasty, to serve as the physical manifestation of royal authority. Kings lived in the Grand Palace for over 150 years, conducting ceremonies, receiving foreign dignitaries, governing the kingdom from within its walls. The current king does not reside in the Grand Palace, having moved to other residences, but the palace remains a working royal site, used for important ceremonies, for state functions, for coronations and royal funerals. Visiting the Grand Palace requires proper dress, shoulders and knees covered, no shorts or tank tops or revealing clothing, a sign of respect for the sacred and royal nature of the site. You enter through gates guarded by enormous statues, demons from Hindu mythology, fierce and colorful, standing watch over the entrance. Inside, the scale and beauty are overwhelming. Buildings rise around you, golden spires reaching toward the sky, walls painted with scenes from the Ramakien, the Thai version of the Hindu epic Ramayana, depicting battles and romances and divine interventions in intricate detail. The throne halls are vast, built for ceremonies involving thousands of people, designed to showcase the king elevated above his subjects. the center of attention, the axis around which the kingdom revolves. The craftsmanship is extraordinary, every detail considered, from the inlaid mother-of-pearl doors to the gilded ceilings to the carefully proportioned columns and arches. The Grand Palace represents the pinnacle of traditional Thai architecture and craftsmanship, a collective achievement of artists, builders, craftsmen, working over generations to create and maintain this extraordinary complex. The palace is also a living museum of Thai history, each building and courtyard associated with specific kings, specific events, specific moments in the nation's development. Walking through the Grand Palace, you are walking through 2.5 centuries of Thai monarchy, seeing the evolution of style, the layers of construction and renovation, the way each king added to or modified what came before. The palace is crowded with visitors, Thai and foreign, everyone moving slowly through the heat, taking photos, listening to guides, trying to absorb the scale and beauty and significance of the place. There is a reverence in the air, a sense that this is not just a tourist attraction but a sacred space, the heart of the Thai kingdom, the place where kings were crowned and where the symbols of royal power reside. Inside the Grand Palace complex, within the temple known as Wat Phra Kaew, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, lies the most sacred image in the country, the Emerald Buddha. The statue is small, only about 66 centimeters tall, just over 2 feet, and despite the name, it is not made of emerald. It is carved from a single block of jade, a dark green stone, but the name Emerald Buddha has stuck, perhaps because of the color, perhaps because of translation, perhaps because emerald sounds more precious and exotic than jade. The statue sits high on an elaborate golden altar, far above the heads of the people who come to pay respects, dressed in seasonal robes that are changed by the king himself in a ceremony that marks the changing of the seasons 3 times a year. One set of robes for the hot season, another for the rainy season, another for the cool season. Each change a ritual that maintains the connection between the monarchy, the seasons, the spiritual well-being of the nation. The origins of the Emerald Buddha are shrouded in legend and uncertainty. The statue is believed to be very old, possibly created in the 15th century or earlier, though claims exist that it dates back much further, perhaps to India or Sri Lanka in ancient times. The statue was discovered in Chiang Rai in the north of Thailand, allegedly hidden inside a stucco Buddha image that cracked open to reveal the jade figure within. It was moved between cities and kingdoms, at various times residing in Laos, before being brought to Bangkok by King Rama I when he established the new capital. The Emerald Buddha is considered a palladium of the kingdom, a protective image whose presence ensures the safety and prosperity of Thailand. It is not just art or religious object, it is a symbol of national identity, of continuity, of the sacred compact between the monarchy and the people and the divine. Visiting Wat Phra Kaew is a deeply moving experience for many Thai people, a pilgrimage as much as a visit. People dress in their best clothes, approach the temple with reverence, remove their shoes, kneel on the floor, make offerings, pray, spend time in meditation or contemplation before the image. The temple itself is breathtaking, walls covered in murals depicting scenes from Buddhist cosmology and the Ramakien, the ceiling decorated in gold and colored glass, the air thick with incense and the murmur of prayers. Foreigners are welcome but reminded constantly to be respectful, to dress appropriately, to remain silent, to not point feet toward the Buddha, to recognize that this is not merely a museum or tourist site but a living temple, a place of active worship. The Emerald Buddha sits in stillness, has sat for centuries, unchanging, serene, the spiritual center of the Thai kingdom, an object of devotion for millions, a reminder that there are things beyond the material world, things sacred and enduring and worthy of reverence. In Kanchanaburi, about 2 hours west of Bangkok, near the border with Myanmar, you can walk over the bridge on the River Kwai, a remnant of World War II, a structure that carries the weight of one of the war's most horrific episodes. The bridge is famous, immortalized in books and films, particularly the 1957 movie, The Bridge on the River Kwai. which dramatized and in many ways fictionalized the story of the bridge's construction. The real history is far darker than the film portrayed. During World War II, Thailand was allied with Japan, a complicated and largely forced alliance that allowed Japanese troops to use Thailand as a staging ground for operations in Southeast Asia. The Japanese military decided to build a railway connecting Thailand with Burma, a supply route that would allow them to support their troops fighting in Burma and ultimately facilitate a planned invasion of India. The route chosen was incredibly difficult, running through mountains, jungles, and river valleys, terrain that European engineers had surveyed decades earlier and deemed too challenging for railway construction. But the Japanese military pressed forward, using forced labor to build the railway. They brought in Allied prisoners of war, captured British, Australian, Dutch, and American soldiers, and they conscripted hundreds of thousands of Asian laborers, mostly from Burma, Malaya, and the Dutch East Indies, forcing them to work on the railway under brutal conditions. The workers faced starvation, disease, beatings, inadequate shelter, lack of medical care, impossible work quotas, and complete disregard for their lives. They hacked through jungle, built bridges over rivers and gorges, blasted through mountains, laid track through terrain that seemed impassable. The mortality rate was staggering. Of the approximately 60,000 Allied POWs who worked on the railway, over 12,000 died. Of the roughly 200,000 Asian laborers, estimates suggest that 90,000 or more perished. The railway became known as the Death Railway, a name that captures the horrific cost in human life. The bridge on the River Kwai was one piece of this railway, a steel bridge built to cross the Kwai Yai River near Kanchanaburi. The bridge you can walk on today is not the original wartime bridge, which was bombed by Allied forces in 1945 and partially destroyed. It has been rebuilt, reconstructed using some of the original materials, and is now both a working railway bridge and a memorial site. Walking across it, trains still pass, the bridge still serves its function, carrying freight and passengers between Thailand and Myanmar. But now it also carries tourists, people who come to understand the history, to pay respects to those who died, to walk where prisoners and laborers once worked under unimaginable conditions. The town of Kanchanaburi has museums dedicated to the Death Railway, cemeteries where Allied POWs are buried, their graves marked with headstones listing names, ages, regiments, dates of death. Many of the graves are of very young men, teenagers, and men in their early 20s, who died far from home, building a railway for their captors, suffering and dying in the jungles of Thailand. The cemeteries are beautifully maintained, peaceful, orderly, flowers planted, grass trimmed, a stark contrast to the chaos and horror of the conditions these men endured. Walking through the cemetery, reading the names, calculating their ages, imagining what they went through, is profoundly affecting. The Asian laborers who died have fewer memorials, their names often unrecorded, their graves unmarked or lost, their suffering acknowledged but not documented with the same detail as the Allied prisoners. This is partly because POWs were documented by military bureaucracies, while many of the Asian laborers were not, but it is also a reflection of how history is recorded, whose stories are told, who is remembered, and who is forgotten. In recent years, there have been efforts to better commemorate the Asian victims of the Death Railway, to recognize that the suffering was not exclusive to Allied soldiers, that the majority of those who died were Asian civilians and laborers forced into work by an invading army. Thailand's role in World War II is complicated and remains sensitive. The alliance with Japan was pragmatic, an attempt to avoid invasion and occupation, to preserve some degree of sovereignty while navigating the realities of Japanese military dominance in the region. Some Thai leaders collaborated willingly, seeing opportunities for territorial expansion and political advantage. Others resisted secretly, forming underground movements, providing intelligence to the Allies, working to undermine the Japanese presence. After the war, Thailand was not treated as a defeated enemy, partly because of the resistance movement, partly because of diplomatic maneuvering, partly because the Allies needed Thailand as a bulwark against communism in Southeast Asia. The country escaped the harsh occupation and devastation that befell some of its neighbors, but it also carries the legacy of the death railway, of thousands of deaths on its soil, of infrastructure built through suffering that still exists and functions today. Visiting Kanchanaburi, walking the bridge, standing in the cemeteries, learning about the death railway, is a somber reminder that Thailand's history, like all history, contains darkness as well as light, that the beautiful country you are visiting also witnessed terrible cruelty, that memory and acknowledgement of suffering are necessary even when they complicate the narrative of a peaceful, welcoming land. To get around Bangkok, to navigate the chaotic streets, to experience the city at its most visceral and immediate, you hop in a tuk-tuk, the noisy, colorful, three-wheeled icon of Thai transport. The tuk-tuk is not subtle. It announces itself with the buzzing roar of its small engine, a sound somewhere between a lawnmower and a motorcycle, a mechanical growl that cuts through the ambient noise of traffic. The name tuk-tuk is onomatopoeia, an attempt to capture the buttering sound the engine makes, though in reality the noise is louder and more aggressive than the cute name suggests. Tuk-tuks are everywhere in Bangkok and in cities and towns throughout Thailand, brightly painted in red or yellow or blue or combinations of colors, decorated sometimes with lights or stickers or religious amulets, each one reflecting the personality of its driver. They are open on the sides, offering no protection from rain or pollution or the chaos of traffic, just a bench seat in the back, sometimes padded, sometimes bare metal, and a canopy overhead to provide minimal shade from the sun. Riding in a tuk-tuk is an experience, a sensory assault, exhilarating and slightly terrifying in equal measure. The driver sits in front, steering with handlebars like a motorcycle, which is essentially what a tuk-tuk is, a motorcycle with a cabin attached. You climb into the back, squeeze in with one or two other passengers if you are sharing, and hold on as the driver accelerates into traffic. Tuk-tuks are nimble, able to weave through lanes, to slip between cars, to make turns and lane changes that larger vehicles cannot manage. The ride is bumpy, the suspension minimal, every pothole and speed bump transmitted directly to your spine. The noise is constant, the engine roaring, traffic honking, the rush of air as you move through the streets. Exhaust fumes from buses and trucks wash over you, along with the smells of street food, flowers, garbage, incense, all the olfactory signatures of the city. You are completely exposed, part of the traffic rather than protected from it, seeing everything, smelling everything, feeling the heat and humidity and the physical reality of Bangkok in a way you never would in an air-conditioned taxi. Tuk-tuk drivers are characters, skilled navigators of Bangkok's impossible traffic, opportunistic entrepreneurs who hustle for fares, bargain over prices, sometimes try to take tourists to gem shops or tailors where they earn commissions, sometimes genuinely helpful and friendly, always operating in a cash economy with no meters, no receipts, just negotiated prices and handshake agreements. The price you pay depends on your bargaining skill, your knowledge of distances and reasonable rates, your willingness to walk away if the price is too high. Tourists often overpay, accepting the first price quoted, not realizing that negotiation is expected, that the initial price is always inflated, that cutting the price in half or more is normal and acceptable. But even at tourist prices, tuk-tuks are relatively cheap, a few dollars for a short ride, more for longer distances, and the experience itself has value beyond mere transportation. Riding a tuk-tuk is fun, adventurous, memorable, a story to tell, a way to feel like you are really in Thailand, really experiencing the chaos and energy of the place rather than insulated from it. Need a snack, a cold drink, a forgotten toiletry item, a phone charger, a packaged meal, a magazine, a cup of coffee? You are never far from a 7-Eleven. Thailand has the second most 7-Eleven stores in the world, second only to Japan, which created the franchise that became a global phenomenon. There are over 13,000 7-Eleven stores in Thailand, a density that seems impossible until you start noticing them everywhere. Multiple stores on the same street, in every neighborhood, at every major intersection, in shopping malls and office buildings and gas stations and train stations. The stores are identical in their layout, their bright green and orange signage, their fluorescent lighting, their air conditioning that provides instant relief from the heat outside. They are open 24 hours, never closed, always available, staffed by employees in orange polo shirts who greet you with a Y and a cheerful "Sawasdee ka" or "Sawasdee krap" as you enter. 7-Eleven in Thailand has become more than a convenience store. It is a social institution, a meeting place, a refuge from heat, a reliable constant in a changing city. You can pay bills at 7-Eleven, buy concert tickets, withdraw cash from ATMs, charge your phone, use relatively clean bathrooms, sit in the air conditioning eating a snack and drinking an iced coffee while you decide where to go next. The stores stock an amazing variety of products, from instant noodles and dozens of flavors to fresh fruit to pre-made meals that can be heated in the store's microwave, to Japanese rice balls, to Thai sweets, to imported snacks, to household goods, to beauty products, to alcohol and cigarettes, to newspapers and magazines. The prepared food section is particularly impressive, offering meals that are surprisingly good for convenience store fare: basil fried rice, chicken with cashews, green curry, all in plastic containers, all ready to heat and eat. Many Thai people, especially those living alone or working long hours, rely on 7-Eleven for meals, grabbing breakfast before work, lunch between meetings, dinner on the way home. The ubiquity of 7-Eleven reflects broader changes in Thai society: urbanization, the rise of convenience culture, the decline of traditional markets and home cooking in favor of grab-and-go consumption. But it also reflects the Thai genius for adaptation, for taking a foreign concept and making it thoroughly Thai, stocking the stores with local products, hiring local staff, creating a version of the convenience store that serves Thai needs and tastes. Walking through Thailand, you learn to rely on 7-Eleven, to know that no matter where you are, you can find one, that it will have what you need, that it will be cool and clean and predictable, a small island of consistency in a country that can otherwise feel overwhelming and chaotic. You will notice a visible and accepted population of cat hoi, commonly referred to by foreigners as ladyboys, though that term can be considered somewhat disrespectful, more appropriate in informal context than in serious discussion. Cat hoi are people assigned male at birth who identify and present as women, or who occupy a gender identity somewhere between male and female, or who resist binary gender categories altogether. Thai culture has long recognized a third gender, a category beyond male and female, and cat hoi have been part of Thai society for centuries, mentioned in historical texts, depicted in traditional literature, acknowledged in folk beliefs. This does not mean cat hoi face no discrimination. They do, particularly in formal employment, in family acceptance, in access to certain rights and recognitions. But compared to many other countries, Thailand is relatively accepting, and cat hoi are visible in public life, working in beauty salons, in retail, in entertainment, in cabaret shows that have become tourist attractions. The acceptance is complicated, rooted partly in Buddhist concepts of karma and reincarnation, the belief that being cat hoi is the result of past life actions, a karmic condition to be accepted rather than fought against. This can be both accepting and limiting, allowing cat hoi to exist but framing their identity as something to be endured rather than celebrated. In modern urban Thailand, especially in Bangkok and tourist areas, cat hoi are fairly integrated into daily life, their presence unremarkable to most Thai people. You see cat hoi working in department stores, serving in restaurants, performing in shows, walking the streets, living ordinary lives. Some cat hoi undergo medical transition, hormone therapy, surgeries, creating physical appearances that align with their gender identity. Thailand has become a destination for gender-affirming surgery, with clinics that attract patients from around the world, offering procedures at lower costs and with skilled surgeons. Other Kat Hoi do not pursue medical transition, expressing their gender through clothing, makeup, behavior, performance. The visibility of Kat Hoi in Thailand challenges Western binary notions of gender, offers a different model of how societies can recognize and accommodate gender diversity, though it is important not to romanticize the Thai situation. Kat Hoi still face obstacles, still navigate a society that is accepting in some ways and restrictive in others, still struggle for full legal recognition and rights. But their presence in public life, their integration into certain sectors of the economy, their cultural acknowledgement, these represent a form of acceptance that many Western countries are still working toward. For visitors, encountering Kat Hoi can be educational, a reminder that gender is understood differently in different cultures, that the binary categories taken for granted in many societies are not universal, that human diversity extends beyond what is familiar and comfortable. At 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening, throughout Thailand, a strange thing happens. People stop moving. In parks, in train stations, in shopping malls, on streets, wherever the national anthem is played over loudspeakers, people freeze. If they are walking, they stop. If they are sitting, they stand. They face the direction of the music, or they simply stand still, and they wait in silence until the anthem finishes. The national anthem lasts about 1 minute, a short pause in the day, a moment of collective acknowledgement of nation and king. This practice is not legally mandatory everywhere, though there are laws that make disrespecting the anthem illegal, and social pressure ensures compliance. During the anthem, you do not talk, you do not walk, you do not continue whatever you were doing. You stop, you show respect, you participate in this moment of national unity. For foreigners, the first time you experience this can be disorienting. You are walking through a train station, people all around you moving with purpose, and suddenly everyone stops, becomes still, and you realize music is playing, the national anthem, and you too should stop, should show respect, should participate in this ritual. The anthem plays not just in public spaces but also on television and radio, broadcast at the same times every day. Thai people are accustomed to this, build it into their routines, know that at 8 and 6 they will need to pause. The practice reinforces national identity, creates a daily moment of unity, reminds everyone of their connection to the nation and the monarchy. It is a small act, easy to comply with, but symbolically significant, a public performance of loyalty and respect. Even in the chaos of Bangkok traffic, drivers sometimes stop their vehicles when the anthem plays, though this is less common now than it once was, traffic being too congested to allow for such pauses. But in parks, in schools, in government buildings, in public squares, the practice continues, a living tradition, a daily ritual that binds the nation together in a moment of synchronized stillness. Even before a movie starts, even in the casual, popcorn-scented environment of a cinema, you must stand for the king's anthem. This is not the national anthem but a royal anthem, a piece of music accompanied by a video montage of the king, images of royal ceremonies, the king performing duties, the king with the people, all set to stirring music. When the royal anthem begins, everyone in the theater stands. It is not a request, it is an expectation, enforced by social pressure and by staff who will look pointedly at anyone who remains seated. You stand, you watch the screen, you listen to the music, and you wait until it finishes before sitting back down and returning to the normalcy of watching a movie. For Thai people, this is routine, a familiar prelude to entertainment, one more instance of the omnipresence of the monarchy in public life. For foreigners, it can feel strange, jarring, a reminder that you are in a place where the monarchy is not symbolic in the distant way it might be in constitutional monarchies elsewhere, but central, active, constantly invoked and honored. The practice reflects the deep reverence Thai people are expected to show toward the monarchy, the understanding that the king is not just a political figure but a sacred person. deserving of respect in all contexts, even frivolous ones like going to see a movie. Failure to stand during the royal anthem can result in confrontation from other moviegoers, can lead to accusations of disrespect, can even result in legal consequences under Thailand's strict lèse-majesté laws, which make it illegal to insult or defame the monarchy. These laws are serious, carrying sentences of years in prison for violations, and they are enforced with arrests and prosecutions happening regularly. For foreigners, the best practice is simply to stand, to show respect, to recognize that this is part of being in Thailand, that these rituals are meaningful to Thai people, that participating in them is a small act of cultural respect. Don't whistle at night. This warning might seem superstitious, silly, the kind of folk belief that modern people dismiss. But in Thailand, belief in ghosts, in spirits, in the supernatural world of Phi, is strong, widespread, taken seriously even by educated, urban, modern Thai people. Phi are everywhere, inhabiting certain places, attached to certain objects, capable of causing harm or bringing misfortune. Entities to be respected and appeased rather than dismissed or mocked. The Thai supernatural worldview is complex, incorporating elements from animism, Brahmanism, Buddhism, creating a belief system where spirits coexist with the Buddha and Hindu deities, where the natural and supernatural interpenetrate, where the boundary between the visible and invisible world is thin and permeable. Whistling at night is believed to attract Phi, to call them to you, to invite unwanted attention from the spirit world. The reasoning varies depending on who you ask. Some say spirits are drawn to the sound, some say whistling mimics the sounds that spirits make, some simply say it is unlucky, to be avoided without needing detailed explanation. Ghost stories are popular in Thailand, told and retold, part of oral tradition and now part of media culture. Thai horror films being particularly good at capturing the terror and the specific cultural beliefs about ghosts. Thai ghosts are varied, each type with its own characteristics, its own origin story, its own particular form of haunting. There is the May-nak, the ghost of a woman who died in childbirth, whose spirit refuses to leave her husband, protecting him but also terrorizing anyone who threatens their bond. There is the Kraju, a floating head trailing intestines, glowing in the night, feeding on blood and filth, a terrifying figure that appears in rural ghost stories. There is the Pret, hungry ghosts with huge bellies and tiny mouths, condemned to eternal hunger, unable to satisfy their needs, suffering endlessly. These ghosts are not metaphors or entertainment, not for everyone. For many Thai people, Phi are real, dangerous, requiring precautions and respect. You see evidence of ghost belief everywhere, in the spirit houses outside buildings, in the amulets people wear for protection, in the rituals performed to cleanse spaces or appease spirits, in the way people avoid certain places at certain times, in the taboos around disturbing graves or old trees or specific locations known to be haunted. Buddhism and ghost belief coexist without apparent contradiction. Monks perform ceremonies to ward off spirits, to bless houses, to provide protection against supernatural harm. Amulets blessed by famous monks are highly valued, believed to offer protection, to bring luck, to shield the wearer from both physical and spiritual danger. Even people who consider themselves rational, educated, modern, often still wear amulets, still make offerings to spirits, still observe taboos just in case, because the cost of belief is low and the potential cost of disbelief could be high. Whistling at night, stepping over someone, pointing at rainbows, cutting hair or nails at night, sleeping with your head toward the west, all of these are considered unlucky or dangerous, capable of attracting spirits or inviting misfortune. The supernatural in Thailand is not relegated to the past or to ignorance. It is part of the present, part of daily life, part of how people understand and navigate the world. If you visit in April, bring a water gun, fill it and prepare to get drenched. Songkran, the Thai New Year, is celebrated from April 13th to 15th, sometimes longer in certain cities, and it is the world's biggest water fight, a nationwide celebration where throwing water on people is not just acceptable but expected, encouraged, a core part of the festival. Songkran traditionally marked the start of the Buddhist New Year, a time for renewal, for cleansing, for making merit, for honoring elders, for visiting temples. The water element was originally symbolic, a gentle pouring of scented water over Buddha images and over the hands of elders as a sign of respect and a way of washing away bad luck from the old year. But over time, the water throwing expanded, became more playful, more chaotic, until it transformed into the massive water fight that Songkran is today. During Songkran, especially in cities like Chiang Mai and Bangkok, the streets become war zones of water. People line the roads with buckets and hoses and water guns, drenching anyone who passes, cars, motorcycles, pedestrians, everyone is fair game. You cannot walk outside without getting soaked. The water is sometimes ice cold, buckets filled with ice to shock people, the cold water a relief from the April heat, which is typically the hottest time of the year. Pickup trucks drive through the streets loaded with people and barrels of water, everyone throwing water at the crowds, getting drenched in return, music blasting, people dancing, the whole event a massive, joyful, chaotic celebration. Tourists come specifically for Songkran, armed with super soakers and water guns, wearing clothes they do not mind ruining, protecting phones and valuables in waterproof bags, diving into the madness with enthusiasm. Thai people of all ages participate, children with water pistols, teenagers with buckets, adults with hoses, even elderly people sitting by the road with cups of water, blessing passers-by with gentle splashes. The festival is fun, liberating, a sanctioned break from normal social rules, a time when soaking a stranger is not assault but celebration, a time when the entire country seems to exhale, to play, to embrace chaos and joy. But Songkran is also controversial, increasingly so in recent years. The water usage is enormous, millions of liters consumed during the festival, a concern in a country that faces water scarcity issues and droughts. The drinking during Songkran leads to accidents. Drunk driving during a festival involving wet roads and crowds of people leads to tragic numbers of injuries and deaths every year, the holiday period one of the most dangerous times on Thai roads. There are also concerns about the commercialization of the festival, the way it has become more about tourism and partying and less about the traditional religious and cultural elements. Some temples and communities try to preserve the original spirit of Songkran, focusing on merit-making, on bathing Buddha images, on the pouring of water over elders' hands, on cleaning and renewal rather than wild water fights. But for most people, especially in cities, Songkran is the water fight, a few days of unbridled fun, a release, a celebration, a reminder that sometimes joy and chaos are necessary, that life needs moments of abandon, that throwing water at strangers can be a form of blessing and connection. Be careful in Thailand, there are laws, some of them strange, some of them rarely enforced but still technically on the books, some of them capable of landing you in serious trouble if you are unlucky or if authorities decide to enforce them. It is illegal to leave the house without underwear, a law that exists but is almost never enforced, a relic from a period of social regulation that has persisted in legal code even as enforcement became essentially non-existent. You will not be arrested for this, but it is amusing to know that technically you are required to wear underwear in public. It is illegal to drive shirtless, a law that is sometimes enforced, particularly against motorcycle riders, a safety and decency regulation that reflects social norms about public behavior. It is illegal to step on money, and this one is serious, taken seriously, enforced, capable of getting you arrested or at least confronted. Thai currency, coins and bills, all carry the image of the king. Stepping on money is therefore stepping on the king's image, an act of disrespect. a violation of the reverence required toward the monarchy.